Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, suicide cases among the young people are rising, and behind that, there are silent battles around mental health. And this is depression, this is anxiety, this is pressure, and expectations that are weighing heavy, and too many youths are carrying it alone, right? And so, when we look at mental health, somebody might say that, again, we're getting in a space where we can easily talk about mental health, but some people might still see it as a weakness, right? And we're also trying to help. We're trying to create a space where asking for help is not failure, understanding that it is actually not failure. According to data, 4% of Kenyan adolescents say they've had suicidal thoughts. Okay, 1,400 plus suicide deaths happen nationwide each year. Youth and teens are among the most affected in this category, right? Ian, we are seeing the rising cases among young people in Kenya. From your perspective, how serious is this problem right now?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big problem.
Yeah.
It's a very big problem. It's a very serious problem that we actually need now to take a different approach.
Yeah.
I think this show is coming at a very timely time.
Yeah.
Just the other month, we had a trend where people were stating, I want to die on this particular day.
Yes.
And then if you follow up, actually, they actually commit suicide. So it's something that has been happening. It has been like a trend.
Yeah.
Mental health cases are on their rise. And I feel like at this time we need now to take a different intervention.
Yeah.
Most people are found on the social media platforms. They listen to radio stations, they watch news, they watch all those things happening in the media, and they want to copy, but they don't really consider that the pressure that will come with it can actually be a part of the problem.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a very, very big problem at the current.
When you say, okay, let's talk about this trend that you're saying, when people are talking about, I want to die on this particular day, and they actually went ahead to do that. What would get somebody to be in that space of thinking about it and even verbalizing it and then actualizing it?
If you look at it from this angle,
Yes.
we are human, we are in Kenya, and we face different kind of problems.
Yeah.
But not all of us have the capacity to handle all that problem. So we are growing up with a generation that is used to maybe being provided for. What you need is being given. Yeah. Someone said, "Msupa wants, Msupa gets." So if what they want is what they're getting, sometimes when it comes to now being alone, looking for their own initiatives to do their own things, it becomes a problem because you're used to, you want it, you get it.
Yeah.
So it's on the rise. There's a problem when it comes to people coming up with their own solution for their own problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem to people dealing with pressure at the workplace. At this generation, you tell someone don't come back, and they'll be like, gladly, I'll look at it. I'm looking at it from, I've obtained some freedom from work. But after that, they realize, oh, so I don't have money. I need money to do my bills. I need to get money, whether it's through legal means or illegal means. So they get into illegal deals just for the sake of maybe getting some money to survive.
Yes.
So that's part of the problem. The lifestyle that they have is becoming a problem.
Yeah.
So it's more of a lifestyle issue than actually the other mental health issue in general. Yeah.
So a lifestyle issue, that means I'm comparing my lifestyle to Salim's.
Yeah.
Or I want a certain type of life that I'm unable to get at that particular time. So then comes the pressure.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're saying among the young people, are you saying among the young people the biggest cause is triggered by a lifestyle?
Yes. The biggest cause is triggered by a lifestyle, whereby you want to keep up with a particular lifestyle.
Yes.
We see your friends with iPhones, you also want an iPhone. You see your friends with money, you also get a mubaba so that you can get some money. You see yourself having fun, your friends having fun, and you also want to have fun. So you go and party, you go and do all those things, but in the end, we realize that not all fingers are the same size. So you end up having people who are taking loans just to maintain a particular lifestyle, people who are doing all those things to get money just for the sake of fitting into the particular lifestyle that they have established in their minds. So it's more of a lifestyle issue that is contributing to the psychological issues that are on the rise. Yeah.
And when we talk about, I'll still take you back to what you say, the trend online that says, I want to die or commit suicide, and then they actually go ahead and do this. what kind of ripple effect might this have? Because I've also found myself on certain TikTok posts, and when you go through the comment section, it's sad, because when you go through the comment section, you also see somebody say, "I just want to leave, right? I'm so done. I'm tired." It's a cry for help, right? When somebody goes in the comment section and says, "I'm tired," and then another person also goes and says, "I'm also tired," right? And another person says, I want to like off myself, right? What kind of ripple effect does this have?
In clinical psychology, there's something that we call vicarious trauma. Vicarious trauma is when you're traumatized and you carry that trauma without dealing with it. There's a high chance that you may also spread that traumatic feeling to someone else. So you end up carrying the trauma, taking it to the other person. You carry the trauma, take it to the other person. And in the end, if you don't deal with the mental health issue that you are facing now, you tend to have so many traumatic incidences that people are carrying around. So what kind of effect does it have? There's a small kid who is watching this and they're like, oh, it's normal. So if I'm tired because my parent is maybe not taking care of me the way I want to, I'll just go there and say, I will die on 25th December, or I will die on Easter like Jesus. So it's something that if we are not taking it seriously, in the end, people will be doing it like a trend, but not really just a trend, but it's a mental health issue that is building up in a vicarious manner.
Yeah. How do we deal with there's pressure, right? And then there's pressure, and then at times you feel like things are not going your way. Let's demystify it, or rather let's break it down to somebody who's in a space and they feel like my only solution is to take away my life. How does this begin?
Normally our body has responses. We have a fight response, you have a flight response, and you have a freeze response.
Yes.
So when you are faced with a threat, you have to take any one of those responses. For people who have gone through a lot of maybe a lifestyle that has built them to have a very strong defense system, they normally take a fight response. So here's the problem, but I'm going to fight the problem. But you have people who are not used to facing this kind of issues. So whenever the problem arises, what they do is they'll want to run. Or maybe sometimes they'll want to just freeze and do nothing about it. So the kind of response a person has can actually determine the kind of action that they end up doing. So many times people are just overwhelmed with all those thoughts, all those ideas, all those happening around them, and they feel like enough is enough. I just need to let it go. We normally say that suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. The problem is just temporary, but since your mind has given you the idea that I can't do this and there's nothing that can be done about it, you end up taking a shortcut. So thinking that it's a shortcut, but it's a permanent solution for a temporary problem.
I had that somewhere, and I honestly want you to break it down. When you say permanent solution to a temporary problem, break it down so that, because at times you look at it and you say, I cannot get out of this situation. My only way out is to take my life, right? But you've called it a temporary problem, meaning this too shall pass.
Yes. There's always a solution for everything. Sometimes it may take longer, sometimes it may take shorter, but eventually there is a solution for it. Think about it this way. When you are growing up, you had some kids problems, whereby you feel like, I want this gadget, my parents not buying it for me. What if you have considered suicide? So 10 years later you'll be like, my daughter died of suicide because of doing 1, 2 and 3. So the problem that you had during that childhood times, maybe 15 years or 20 years ago, if you look at it from this point of time and age, you realize it's no longer that much of a big problem that will actually made you think about suicide. So sometimes it just needs more time, maybe some a word from someone, or maybe just interaction with people, and then you realize that problem that seems so big is actually not that big. You have a financial issue, fine, because of how much? 20,000 shillings. But someone else has a 1 million problem and is still surviving. So your problem is no longer just a problem that you just have to ignore and then just sit around pretty thinking that maybe the problem will just go away. But just give it time, try and look for solutions slowly by slowly, talk to someone, talk with friends, talk with parents, talk to anybody who you want to talk to, as long as you look for a small solution day by day, eventually that small solution becomes a big solution.
Yeah.
Tulipokuwa tunazungumza hapa kabla tuende hewani, nyuma ya pazia huko umesema kwamba baadhi ya vitu ni vitu ambavyo kwamba vilitokea nyuma huko tukavipuuza, alafu sasa vinakuja kutokea huku mbele na vinatengeneza hizi changamoto mtu mpaka anafikia kwenye hiyo hatua. Ndio nifike hapo, kuna vitu ambavyo kwamba vimenisukuma. For example, mfano ambao kwamba umeutoa, umesema
permanent solution to a temporary problem.
To a temporary problem. Kabla nifike hapo kwenye kuona kwamba mimi nachukua maamuzi ya kuondoka kwenye hili tatizo ambapo ni kosa, lakini kuna naweza nikasuluhisha matatizo. Hivi vitu ambavyo kwamba vinanifanya mimi nifikirie tu kwamba hili ndio suluhu la kudumu, ni vitu gani hivi?
Kwa kawaida binadamu kuna vile vitu anaweza angalia sema hii naweza handle kufikia hii kiwango, lakini hii ni kama hii imepita kiwango yenye naweza. Kuna vitu kadhaa zinaweza kusukuma ufike mahali penye labda unaona kama hii siwezi sukuma kupita hii kiwango, hii imenipita. Na kama vile tulisema lifestyle problem, ile maisha yenyewe unaishi, saa zingine zile vitu ndogo zenye huo unaziona ni kama vitu za kawaida, kwa mtu mwingine si vitu ya kawaida. Kwako maybe kukula kila siku ni kitu ya kawaida, kwa mtu mwingine kukula chakula hata moja kwa siku ni kitu cha ajabu. So mara mingi sisi kama binadamu huwa tunaangalia kenye tuko nayo, tunasahau kuwa kuna watu wengine pia wanakosa. Vitu kaa gani? Finances, pesa. Unaweza kuwa na shida ya pesa, mwingine anaona ni kama shida yako ya pesa ni kidogo, mwingine anaona kama shida yako ya pesa ni kubwa sana. Relationships. Kuna kwako unaweza achwa na girlfriend useme huyu akitoka mwingine nampata. Na kuna mwingine anaweza angalia aseme huyu ndo alikuwa kipenzi cha roho, akitoka sioni kama anaweza survive tena.
Pata mtu mwingine.
Yeah. Okay. So ni zile vitu zetu tunazichukulia kama vitu za kawaida, lakini kwa mtu mwingine si kitu cha kawaida. So hiyo kitu yenye naamua kama atatoa uhai wake ama atatoa ni ile kiwango ya naweza wezana na hii shida ama siwezani nayo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hapo napo ndo najiuliza kwa nini kuna changamoto kwa huyo muhusika kuweza kuzungumza na mtu ama kuzungumza na watu. Mbona kuna hiyo changamoto, ama kuna njia ambazo kwamba anatumia kucommunicate, sisi wengine ndio hatuelewi?
Kwa kawaida kuna kitu inaitwa personality. Watu hawafanani. Personality yako ni tofauti na personality ya mtu mwingine. Vile personality yako ni tofauti na mtu mwingine, pia vile utahandle pia problems zako ni tofauti na venye mtu mwingine pia anahandle pia problems zake. Kwa hivyo kwa kawaida zile unasemanga unique differences. Uko na ka uniqueness fulani kenye kanaweza fanya uko tofauti na mtu mwingine, na hiyo uniqueness inafanya pia una handle vitu tofauti pia na mtu mwingine. Ndio maana ukiangalia DNA yako na yake na yangu hazifanani, kwa sababu kile yenye tunaweza fanya kimaisha ni tofauti, capabilities zetu ni tofauti, penye tumetoka ni tofauti, na kenye imetujenga vile tuko ni tofauti. So pia zile chemical components kwa brain yako pia ni tofauti kutoka kwa mtu mmoja hadi kwa mtu mwingine. So mtu mwenye ako na chemical components zinaweza handle a lot of pressure, anaweza handle in a very easy way. Kuna mtu mwenye hajazoea hizo mashida, maybe probably venye amelelewa anajua nikitaka hii napata, lakini kama hapati anaweza kupata ile shida ya nitafanya nini next. Yeah. So I feel like we are bringing up a generation yenye si kama watu wa kitambo. Yeah. Okay. So ni tuna bring up a generation yenye ni tofauti kidogo na vile wana handle pressure kuliko watu wengine wa kitambo. So pia venye wanafaa kuwa handled pia ni different. Watu wa 70s 80s hiyo time maneno ya therapy, counseling nini haikuwa mingi sana. Lakini sasa ukiangalia generation mpya, they are actually seeking mental health help, but they are doing it sometimes wrongly kwa social media. So mtu akiana TikTok anasema ni macho na girlfriend, mwingine anamwambia usikufe basi. So anichukulia kama solution. Yeah, mwingine akiendelea kwa ana text mahali TikTok kama maybe Instagram ama Facebook, and then zile comment sections ndio watu wanapendelea sasa kuingililia nazo. So yes, they are seeking help, but they are seeking help sometimes in the wrong platforms.
Yeah. What shows that somebody is crying for help?
So what shows someone is crying for help? number one, there are things that you're used to that you're used to doing. Like for example, ukiamka tunajua wewe ni mtu msafi, unapenda kusikiza wimbo, lakini all of a sudden interest imepotea. Hauna interest tena na ile kitu ulikuwa unapenda kufanya. Kama ulikuwa unapenda kuwatch football, sasa kuna game pale finali, lakini hata hauna interest. Number 2, umejiachilia tu ile yenye hata kama ulikuwa msafi hauna interest na hiyo usafi tena. Number 3, umejiisolate, unakaa kipi yako tu, utaki kuinteract na watu sana. Utaki kufanya maneno yenye ulikuwa umezoea kufanya kama kitu ya kawaida. Ukianza kuona mtu amechange ka lifestyle, ameanza kukaa ni kama kuna kitu yenye imebadilika kwa huyu mtu, ni vizuri tu kimuuliza shida ni gani. So sometimes by just someone asking you mbona siku hizi ufanye hivi, it brings it to your attention. Unaanza kuangalia ni kama by the way siku hizi ni kama nimeacha kuenjoy football. Then you can now bring it to the attention that okay, there's something that is going wrong with me. So we can actually rescue all those issues if we give an early intervention. Tukiweza intervene hizi vitu haraka kwa mapema, sometimes we can actually save a life. According to statistics again, wanasema that for every 30 to 40 seconds there are about 40 people who actually die of suicide.
Unasema?
Between
your data.
Wanasema that for in the world. In the world for between 30 to 40 seconds. There are actually around 40 people who actually die of suicide. So an equivalent of almost for every second someone is dying somewhere. So kuna watu wengi sana, by the time unamaliza almost 1 hour, there are so many people who actually dying. An equivalent of actually 720,000 people in a year globally.
That's a lot.
So many people are actually dying of suicide, majority of them being men.
Now that kabla Miriam aingilie tena hapo, majority of them being men, why is it so?
I'm looking at it from safe spaces of men. A man, a woman. If you want to make your hair, umeangalia setup ya salon, ukaangalia setup ya kinyozi. Two different setups. Kinyozi tu ile ya wewe ni nyoe venye umezoea. Utaki hata kuchange ule baba wako kwa sababu unajua kuna particular way amezoea kunyoa.
Stick na kinyozi for 10 years.
For 10 years, exactly. You're loyal to your baba. That's what you used to say. Juu anajua vile kichwa yako inaenda. So hata muongei sana, ni ile ya kama kawaida unakaa hapo.
Na nywele
unaamka unaenda. And then the music hapo iko a bit loud. Ukienda kwa salon, it's normally the different. A lady will sit down, anaongea na huyo the salonist. They're talking a lot about what's happening in her life. And amwambia venye hii hairstyle nataka ikuwe this time different from the other one. So you realize that by the time they are sharing, it's actually therapeutic for them. So even the setup that, the simple things that we do, for a man and for a woman, they are two different things. Women share a lot. And by you speaking about a problem, sometimes you might actually get a solution. I'll give you an example. In Nairobi, there is a particular project that we were doing somewhere. It was called Beauty with Brains, whereby a salonist ama maybe a baba, akisikia anything that is mental health in nature, anaweza refer huyo mtu to a psychologist. So we were giving them numbers. Ukiona hii issue, call this. Ukiona hii issue, call this. And through that, we're actually getting referrals. Meaning, kuna mtu mwenye anasongwa nywele lakini ana complain venye, bwana amemwacha na feel like hii maisha imekuwa ngumu, they just want to die. So before they reach there, instead of just thinking about suicide, how about call this person, uongee naye. So lifestyle yenye tumezoea kuishi as binadamu, as men and women, there are two different things. Men don't like sharing a lot. Women share a lot. Number 2, men feel like the world has made them to be tough. And the ladies feel like wanafaa kuwe a bit more pampered. Ladies are emotional, men are physical. So we tend to feel like kukuwa tough as men, we don't have to share things that make us look weak. So tunataka kushare vitu tunakaa isi ndio shujaa. Jana liana nikapigana na askari. Lakini sasa kiambio ile ya ile pombe unakunywa kidogo imepita kiwango, unafeel ni kama this is not something that I want to be sharing with my friends. So men, we are used to being told that being tough, unaambua you man up. Yeah, alafu kiambo kuna umama, you feel like it's a weak thing. So society is making us believe that manning up is becoming tough and not sharing the issue that you're going through, which is actually wrong. And ukiambo kuna umama, it feels like you are becoming weaker. So sometimes the social norms that you've created are actually contributing to the problem. Yeah.
How then do we get to, and now I'm thinking about my brothers actually. I'm thinking about my brothers, I'm thinking about my future husband, right? How do I get the men in my life to be in a comfortable space, right? To even open up and not make it feel like if you were to verbalize this, then I see you as less of a person. How do we, and I'm saying that from somebody who has also seen, I saw my brother really struggle to break down when we lost our mom, right? And it took so long. He was there, he was very strong, right? And it hurt me because it's like, this is our mom, you should actually break down, right? How do we demystify that?
First we need to change the concept of how we are approaching mental health towards men. We are now changing the dynamic from just talking about mental health to taking that message of mental health to men's safe spaces. Kwa kawaida kuna mahali penye tunajua wanaume wanakanga in this particular area. Like for example, kuna a shed yenye kuna boda riders. Hapo kuna men. So if you want to create awareness about mental health, how about going to that shed and then wapatie some information? Watakuwa in their safe spaces, naambia leo tuko na kahawa Tuesday and we want to talk about mental health, and then unapewa 1 cup of coffee. So through that, men will be interacting among themselves, talking about mental health issues. It will be easier for them. Place when you watch football, actually men like watching football penye kuna watu wengi more than in their houses. So how about during those half times kukuwa na messages za mental health zinakuwa aired hapo, like this is if you feel like this and this is a sign of depression, this is what you can do about it. So sometimes I feel like we need to change the approach that we had. We don't just talk to men like wamekalishwa chini ya fomeka. Let's take mental health to men's spaces. So the spaces that men have actually need to be supported when it comes to mental health. If it's a football tournament, you got a lot of men. Take those messages to where men are and not take the men to where the message is. How then also do we now the men, right? When Salim sits down with you, he won't share certain things. In fact, you guys will sit down and laugh over football, and he'll still go back home with whatever problem he's facing, right? Or men can sit and share beer, but will never talk about whatever it is that they're going through, even just amongst themselves. How then do we get to a space where a man can share with a fellow man without feeling less of a man? And without the other man telling him, you knew mama. That's a good question. Actually, if you look at it from this point, sometimes we as men actually share, but we share in a very metered way. Tuna limit kile tunasema, ili unasema kitu then usikie response yake itakuwa aje before uongeze ingine. So ukishare kitu na mwanaume mwenzako alafu usikie ni kama hajakuwa, ni kama alarmed, hajashtuka about kenye umesema, you can even add another one feeling like it's a normal thing. But ukishare kitu alafu usikie ni kama ame cut down ama amesema something that you feel this is now stigmatizing, then you push back. This is what needs to be done. Number one, society needs to create more awareness. There are people out here who actually don't know that that's a kind of manipulation. The people out here who don't know something about love bombing. Mpo nakupiga na mapenzi, before you realize mapenzi nakupiga, all your money is gone. Umetumia love bombing kufanya all those things. So I feel like out here, the awareness that people have about mental health is very low. Remember, like we said, in the 70s and 80s, people are not paying that much attention when it comes to mental health. But now that it's on the rise, people are now becoming more aware. Thanks to social media, we can still use the same social media platforms and other events, like those men's safe spaces, to create more awareness. If someone is aware that what they're about to say is actually causing harm to you, and you are their friend, they will meter what they are saying. If you lose your parent, God forbid, and then I am sharing something that is insensitive at that moment, I will feel like okay, this time around maybe anaenda too much, I'm overdoing it.
Yeah.
So kenye ndafanya nitajaribu kujilimit. So same thing to these mental health issues. We need to create that picture of what is really happening. Kama nizo statistic, let people know what is happening, so that mtu akikaa hapo 40 seconds anajua someone is dead somewhere. So I should not take these things lightly, kwa sababu anything yenye nitakuwa nafanya kutoka hapa will determine whether my friend will be alive or not. So they need to understand the intensity of how big the problem is, and that can only be done if the awareness is created to more people over a long period of time. Let's normalize that creation of awareness about mental health.
To parents, as parents at home, right? Of course, you have kids, and maybe your child is actually going through a mental health problem, but they do not know. Speak to us about the warning signs. You've talked about the habits that you're used to doing and they don't do anymore. How do parents get to see? How do parents get to notice when their kids are going through something, and how do they get through to them? Because especially with teenagers, at times they block you out. They just don't want you in their business. They lock themselves in the room. They don't want to share, right? So then how do parents get to a space of noticing something is wrong with my child? And then how do they intervene when the child also says, niko sawa, achana na mimi, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at it from now a very practical point of view.
Yeah.
Mostly the children nowadays, almost 70% plus, they have access to electronic gadgets. True or false?
True.
And the electronic gadgets are becoming like their secondary parent when the primary parent is not there. So through this, you realize that they are listening and watching and believing more from what their phones and their gadgets are saying, more than even what their parent are saying. Parents are now becoming so busy chasing the money. The enemy is poverty, so we are chasing the money, and then tunasahau that we also need to have quality time with our families. So I feel like one of the problems that we are having currently when it comes to children and their mental health is too much access to electronic gadgets more than family time. So we are bringing up people who have some form of electronic autism in a way that ukimnyang'anya hii device hata mnaweza kosana na yeye na the parent. So people are becoming even more angered when you take away their gadgets. It's like they are living in the technological world more than in the physical world. That explains why most of them are seeking therapy on online spaces more than the physical ones. So I feel like number one, the parents need to have some good quality family time with their children. Let's go back to the basics. Tunasema you take away electronic gadgets, and then tunasema maybe this weekend tutakuwa na weekend yenye hatutumii electronics.
Yes.
Yeah. Or tunaweza sema tunaenda for a camp. Yeah, tunaenda Karura Forest for tuseme a camp for like 2 days. Yeah. Through that, while interacting with nature, you tend to feel and understand people in terms of how they are relating with you. Yeah, you stop feeling like you are living online, and you start feeling like you're now living physically. Other than that, I'm also looking at it from the observations made by the parent. Sometimes parent be like, huyu mtoto siku hizi hataki kucheza na watoto wengine huko nje, anataka tu kuwatch TV, and they're just okay with it. So parents will stop normalizing such things. Ukiona kitu yenye iko wrong, handle it immediately. Usingoje mpaka ikue kubwa sana. Ataanza na TV, then before that aanze kujisolate, then before that kwa TV aone drugs, then before that akitoka nje anaanza kuuliza anaweza pata wapi bangi. Then friends anamwambia I know a person, najua pedi anaweza kutupatia hii kitu. And before they realize it, wanaanza kutumia chini ya maji akijificha, and then the addiction kicks in. So ikifika level ya addiction, their brain will be asking for it, their body is asking for it. Without it, they are maybe shaking, maybe a kind of headache or hangovers. So I feel like we wait until the problem is too big, and then we start making all those astronomical moves so that we can save the situation. But if parents can start early, they can actually save the entire mental health issues at an early stage. There's something in clinical psychology that we call ACEs, adverse childhood experiences. The experiences that you go through as a child that when you grow up actually can affect how you perceive and how mental health issues bombard you. Yeah, so kama ulipitia maybe through attempted or maybe rape when you were a child, you grow up and you hide it, mask it, and you do all those things. Then later on you realize the effects are actually now coming back to you. Kuna mtu sahi anasema fear men and you think it's just a trend, but maybe ana fear men because of what she was done to, or he was done to when you were still a child.
Yes.
So those adverse childhood experiences that happened in the past, sometimes they re-emerge in an adult situation.
Yeah, that's not the childhood trauma. Yeah, it's not also, it's also a whole conversation its own, because childhood trauma, how to heal that as well, right?
Yeah.
When I'm facing suicidal, when I've realized that I'm having suicidal thoughts, what should I do?
If you have suicidal thoughts, number one, we need to look at it from the point of I'm the patient now, and I have suicide thoughts. Everybody has thoughts. Actually, they normally say that in your lifetime, you will at least once or twice think about suicide. Just thinking about it. So everybody does it, but not just frequently. If you've not done it before, maybe. I don't say that you will, but just maybe. Thoughts of suicide, they normally come when you feel overwhelmed, like we said. I feel I can't handle this situation. But now the thought is here. What can you do about it? Number one, we normally say the circle of control. If you draw a circle, in between the circle, assume those are the things that you can control. And then outside the circle, those are the things that you cannot control. So most people who die of suicide, they normally think outside the circle about things that they cannot control. Anza kufikiria sina 1 million, sina pesa, nyumba imefungwa, na haezi pata hiyo pesa at that moment. So they feel overwhelmed. But what's the easiest solution to it? Thinking about within the circle. What can I do about it? So you stop focusing on things that you cannot control. Focus on the small things that you can control. What can I do now? I can wake up, I can clean up, I can go apply for a job, I can go do 1, 2, and 3. This will now eventually build you to be a stronger person that will actually make you not even think about suicide. Yeah. So people mostly die of suicide because they think about things that they cannot control. So what's the solution? We reverse it. Think about the things that you can control, things that are within the inner circle.
Yes. And what should I do?
Okay.
As much as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about the things that are within my control. And you're right when you talk about I could be overwhelmed, right? And we've talked about a permanent solution to a temporary problem. At that moment, I'm not seeing this problem as a temporary problem. And if I'm not mentally strong, then indeed I'll keep on thinking about, oh my, there's no solution to this, right? What do I do? Because before somebody else notices that I'm withdrawing, right? That I'm focusing, I'm not doing the activities that I used to do back then. I'm changing. Before somebody else notices, I already know that there's something going on within me. And I'm not even verbalizing it. I'm thinking about it because we hear stories of, but I was with him, right? But we had such a good time. But I just spoke to this person, right? I spent a good time with this person. Well, they were so happy. I just saw this person post a video. What happened? Right? How do we... my thing is, how do we get through to that person who's thinking of or was contemplating committing suicide? And then also for the person who is in that space, how do we ensure that they don't get there?
I'm looking at it now from the victim's point of view.
Yes.
I'm thinking of suicide and I need a solution for it. So what do I do? Number one, try and be in company with someone. When you are in company with someone, many people who die of suicide, they actually die alone. If you've ever noticed, they normally don't die as a crowd. So whenever you are in company of people, at least you are one step safer towards you not committing suicide. That's company. That makes you avoid isolation. That makes you feel loved. Maybe someone will make you feel nice. Someone will make you feel laugh. Laughter imeanza kuja all of a sudden. So you staying with other people actually becomes makes you feel like now I'm becoming a bit more stronger. People actually care for me. So number 1, avoid isolation, stay with people around. Number 2, we have toll-free numbers that they can be calling. Like at LVCT, there's this number 1190, a very short number that people can actually call and speak out, like maybe I have this and this problem, nahitaji kusaidizi, niko na this and this kind of issue in psychological. So when they call, they'll speak to an expert, a counselor, a psychologist there, and then they will help them get through it pole. They can be actually maybe fearing to be seen going to the hospital, but through the teletherapy, anajua mtu hanioni, anaweza tumia hata pseudonym as long as they survive. So that's something that they can also do at that moment. Another thing that they can do, they normally say, in one body, a lot of energy cannot stay within that body and still the body survive. Like ukichukua balloon uanze kupuliza ndani, after some time inaanza kukua bigger and then it can burst. So what can they do about it? Do something that makes you burst out the energy. Like for example, you can work out kidogo, enda pale, ingia gym for 1 hour. Then after hapo unaanza kufeel ni kama that energy that you had kidogo imereduce. Itakuwa build not just the physical but also the mental. Yeah, there's something that we call extramural therapy, na combine the mind, the brain, the mental health side and the physical being. That's why people are being encouraged to participate in physical activity, participate in football, rugby, and you realize that through that they're also building their zeal, their mental strength inakuwa built kutoka hapo. So it's something that is just beyond what we are seeing. Kuna watu wenye ni introverts, wataki kuinteract na watu wengi. What can they do about it? They can do journaling. Chukua a piece of paper, write something about how you're feeling. You realize the more you express it on a piece of paper, it's the same way as the way I'm expressing it to you. So it's like you're having a conversation with yourself, and when you're having a conversation, you're actually doing therapy on its own. So even journaling is part of therapy. So there are so many things out here that are actually therapy that we normally take for granted. Fungua Swahili pod, sikiza music. Music is still part of therapy. So sometimes ukisikiza music unaanza to feel the poetry, you can relate with the person, then start looking for what did they do, how did they survive through this. Part of therapy. So we have music, we have games, we have football. Everything that you do can actually be therapy if you actually channel it towards the right direction.
Kuna mtu hapa ameuliza swali, anatusikiliza, yuko Kibra, Nairobi. Anasema Miriam ameuliza swali zuri, kwamba nikiwa na thoughts, umesema hiyo
suicidal thoughts.
Sasa yeye anauliza hivi, what mimi nimeota ni hizo kwamba anajitoa uhai. Hiyo nayo pia iko sawa na hicho Miriam alichouliza? Hivyo ndio ameuliza.
Dreams ama nightmares. Normally huwezi yota kitu yenye labda haujaona, hujasikia ama hujainteract nayo. Like saa hii siwezi yota venye kitchen ya heaven inakaa. Sijaiona, sijaingia, interact nayo. It's something almost impossible for my brain to conceptualize that this is. So ukiona mtu ameota kuhusu kitu, ni either ameona, amesikia ama ameinteract nayo. So if someone has dreams about suicide, mara moja, let's say labda ameiona, lakini kila saa, kila siku, from time to time ameota mara mingi about suicide, it's a problem. It's your brain trying to tell you I'm giving up, lakini there's something that you're not doing about it. So ikikuwa frequently, it's a problem. I'll give you a practical example. Let's say if you are in a car, alafu umekuwa maybe in an accident. After some time, atukutana na maybe another sound tu ya brakes ziki scratch mahali, unashtuka. Ama kama umeipitia through a gun incident, ukisikia hata kama balloon imepasuka unashtuka. Because normally our brain can actually conceptualize what has happened in the past, inaanza correlate with the present. So ukianza kuona mtu anafikiria sana ama anaota sana kuhusu suicide ama kukufa, inamaanisha ni mtu mwenye either amefikiria, ameiona, ama labda iko tu ameinteract nayo somewhere. So this person, kama ni frequently, they need to seek help. They can go for maybe a therapy session. Alafu ndio ongelelea hiyo issue tujue, is it something yenye imekuwa happen frequently and what could be the trigger. so akianza kuexplore hizo triggers zake mapema ata prevent actually so many things from happening. And sometimes wanasemanga pia si about dying physically, you can also die mentally. So I feel like maybe mentally I'm just dying slowly by slowly. So this person needs to now sit down and explore the therapist to jue, is it a physical death, or is it a lifestyle death, or is it a kind of mental death? So what death is happening in this life?
I like that. Thank you so much, Ian. Very informative, very educative, and you gave a toll-free line. Could you give that again?
The toll-free line for LVCT is 1190.
Yes.
So they can call in, talk to a counselor, talk to a psychologist, whichever gender that they choose. We also do some trainings for mental health. If someone is interested, they can avail themselves. We also do other interactions with KCPA. KCPA is Kenya Counseling and Psychology Association.
Yes.
Whereby we have a pool of counselors that can actually reach out to as many people as possible as we push for mental health towards the people. In the world, actually, we have a shortage of mental health experts. In Kenya, for a population of 52 million plus, we have less than 60,000 experts. So that means Amoshe here, as a clinical psychologist, I have up to 100,000 people that I should be seeing, which is almost impossible considering that a session is 1 hour. So we have a shortage of mental health experts. So if you can get these spaces where we can now access mental health information, will actually help in terms of curbing that mental health problems that exist in the world. Again, the government wakijaribu kustretch their budgets kidogo, it can actually help, because normally actually in the last budget you realize that mental health becomes less than 1% of the total budget that they make. So meaning it's not being prioritized, but something that can be done.
All right, it can be done, and of course we begin with such conversations. If you need help, call that number. There is a solution. Remember, there's always somebody who's willing to listen, who's willing to guide you. Okay, you are not alone. We have been speaking to Ian Amoshe. He is a clinical psychologist, and we're looking at the rising cases of suicide among the youth, but we've also just broadened it. From us to you on Swahili Pot Breakfast Club, we say adios. It's been a good morning.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.